Welcome to WINOL Gridiron episode 2. We're going to have a quick review of NFL Week 11 and go over our scores on the doors from our predictions. We're just going to get straight into it, no dilly-dally. Let's go straight into it. Start Thursday Night Football, Seahawks 28, Cardinals 21. That's a Torin 1-0 lead. What do you think of that, Torin?
I was waiting to be introduced, but...
Good point. Do you want to take a second take on that one?
Nah, we'll go for it. I'm all
Fair
good. Thank you for having me on as per usual. I took a 1-0 lead, and that was one of the last times I led the entire predictions. Personally, I think that the Seahawks are one of the best teams if they had a O-line and a defense. So if it wasn't just the Russell Wilson show. But yeah, I mean, it was a very close game because they had quite a long lead going into the second half, did they not?
I only saw the first half, but I believe it was a Seahawks lead and the Cardinals come back, but they came up short.
Yeah.
So it was it was a good game in terms of NFC West permutations. That's the word. Rams, I believe, are the top seed from that division, but Seahawks are just behind, and Cardinals are just behind them now. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, and we'll talk more about that in the preview for Week 12. Next game: Jaguars 3, Steelers 27.
Are we surprised?
No, we are not. That's a correct prediction for us both. Torin with a 2-1 lead, and so streaks ahead. And then, not really much to say there.
Did I not pick the Panthers?
I believe you didn't.
Didn't I?
I have the photos on my phone. I'm pretty sure you picked the Lions.
With VAR checking here?
VAR check. It doesn't actually make too much of a difference in terms of the end result, which is a bit of a spoiler, but that's fine. Let me go back and find it.
I still think we need to nerf the turbo.
Probably. No, you picked the Lions.
Did I really?
You picked the Lions. We both picked the Lions.
What did I smoke last week?
Well, the Panthers didn't have a quarterback. So
yeah, that's what ticked it, because you said Teddy B wasn't playing.
And he was. PJ Walker came out and did the business. We both took the L there. We both said the Lions would win, and they got shut out, which you'd love to see. Now this one's going to hurt my feelings. Texans 27, Patriots 20. And he said nil.
Nil would have been probably
quite something. That wouldn't surprise me though. Torin got that right. I got that wrong because I backed my boys, and Deshaun Watson proved me otherwise.
We both backed our boys, and both our boys let us down.
Shame. Torin takes a 3-1 lead, and this is where it kind of ends for Torin.
No, I lead after the next match as well, thank you very much.
Okay. He still had the lead, but
yeah.
it was a comeback. Ravens 24, Titans 30. An overtime win for the Titans. I was happy with that one. Derrick Henry with a rushing touchdown. Helped me with the fantasy points as well. Helped me with a lovely win to take a 5-3 record on the season. That's a 3-2 lead to Torin now, as I have clawed one back. And now on to my turbo game, which was the Browns 22, Eagles 17.
This is getting nerfed. There's no way we're having 3-point turbos after this week. 2 points from now on. No way.
2 points from now on, maybe. I think it was a little OP.
Same as in Formula WINOL.
Yeah, that sounds about fair. I took that as my turbo, and the Browns took a win, so I get my 3 points, make it me 5, Torin 3. Torin claws it back a little actually. Saints 24, Falcons 9. I picked the Falcons because I thought Jameis Winston would throw the game away, but he didn't even play.
Yep.
They put in Taysom Hill, which drew the ire of Stephen A. Smith and many fellow meme icons in the NFL punditry game, which I thought was a little unjustified actually. I'm just going to have a little bit of tangent here. I think it was he's 30, but he is, and yes, he's a gadget player. He's Tim Tebow at best. But he's had his moments when he's been under center, throwing those passes out to Drew Brees or whoever he's throwing him to, and he's done the business in the clutch time, and he's proved me wrong here. And Torin, you got that point there. Anything on Taysom Hill, Torin?
I was quite surprised, but a pleasant surprise nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, no throwing touchdowns, but I believe he threw over 200 yards. I can actually have a quick look at that. No, I can't. Let's just move on. It's fine. I believe he threw over 200 yards. Next game, we have the Washington football team 20, Bengals 9. Both of us thought the Bengals would win.
Neither of us anticipated that Joe Burrow would be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
though.
neither of us thought we'd hear the...
Hear a tear and an ACL.
Yeah, that was quite grim. I'm glad I looked and listened away. Because, ouch, that hurt. So yeah, we both took an L on that. It stays 4-5. And then Chargers 34, Jets 28. This was kind of expected. The Chargers made it a little harder than they needed it to be. And again, so did the Patriots against the Jets. So we both took the W there. Torin 5, Ed 6. Now Torin's turbo game. The Broncos versus the Dolphins. Broncos took a win, which is surprising. Tua really didn't show up. He got benched, and then Fitzmagic became Fitztragic. Those are his two nicknames. That is the official nicknames. That's not me making it up. So I'm not just giving people hate. That's legit. So Torin said the Dolphins would win on a turbo, and he got that wrong, and that really hurt him. Really, say 6-5 because I predict the Dolphins win as well. Then we go on to probably the more heartbreaking result for Torin. Vikings 28, Vikings 28, 31 Cowboys. What anything to add to that?
It was a rough game because both sides played really well. Neither team was awful. Adam Thielen was the star player of the game as a whole, and yeah, it is what it is. The Cowboys were always going to bounce back. It just had to be against us.
It had to be Andy Dalton on his comeback as well.
Yeah.
It's a shame it wasn't Ben DiNucci. I wanted to see more of that Ben DiNucci meme. That was really funny, wasn't it? Haha. So I predicted the Cowboys would take a win, so I came away with an extra point there. So it's a 7-5 lead to me. Now we've got a little bit of a sticky patch with this game. The Colts 34, Packers 31. The Rodrigo Blankenship walk-off overtime winning kick. Torin said it was too close to call, but I have given him the benefit of the doubt because he hates the Packers.
I said hate in the message because I really wanted to claim that point, but I would never say the Packers to win that match.
Yeah, so I've given him the benefit of the doubt, given him the point there. So we both predicted the Colts to win, and Blankenship also in my fantasy team. So I am loving him. So it's a 8-6 lead to me. Now, we both thought this next game would be an absolute sellout, blowout, Chiefs Patrick Mahomes dream run. But it really wasn't. Chiefs 35, Raiders 31. I watched this game from A&E waiting room. That was fun. And it was like Derek Carr, he performed so well into that final drive where he just threw the ball straight to Daniel Sorensen. And the Raiders were in it till the final throws of the game, which was surprising because their defense, although they were all on the COVID list, they all tested negative 5 days before the game. Other than 3 players, I believe, only 3 players missed from COVID from that defense, which we thought they were all not going to play. So it's so although at the time we were like, oh yeah, easy win for the Chiefs, the Raiders really stood their ground, and they're seeming like a force, probably for that one of those last wildcard spots in the AFC, and could become a bit like the Titans last year, a bit of a wildcard dark horse. What do you think, Torin?
A wildcard dark horse. The Raiders is what we're talking about. Sorry, I'm totally off piece. I'm just going to listen to you majestically talk about these the scores.
We think the Raiders made it a really tough game.
They did, and I watched a bit of it. Actually, very small part of it, and they played a really good game. And if they hadn't have given them one last drive, they would have won it.
Yeah, what's the guy that played for the Cowboys for ages? Jason Witten. Jason Witten, what looked like the winning touchdown. It didn't last. Travis Kelce showed him up with the other touchdown. We both predicted the Chiefs, but the Raiders really gave us a run for our money, and it's great to see that division isn't becoming a new AFC East. So we both got a point there. It's 7-9, and the final game of the week, Monday Night Football, Buccaneers 24, Rams 27. What a game that was! I didn't actually watch any of it because I decided I wanted to sleep. But it was a great game. Looking back at the highlights.
You only think it was a great game because Brady lost.
I disagree with that. I live with a Rams fan. He's a lad. If he's listening, give us a sub. I've always kind of liked the Rams. It sounds like I'm just saying that, but they've always been that team in the NFC that is like, if I wasn't a Patriots fan, they'd probably be the team I'd go for. And it's great to see them win. Yes, I don't like Tom Brady or Rob Gronkowski, and it's great to see them get walked over like the Saints did. But it's just good to see some variation in NFC, and it's not just, oh, Brady's going to win it again because he's got some receivers now, kind of thing. So it's good to see a little bit of a shake-up. And yeah, that's all we've got for the Week 11 review. And now we're going to head over to Week 12.
Flip the page over.
Let's flip. So for Week 12, we're going to start off recording this on Thursday. Hopefully this will be out by tonight. It depends how quickly YouTube do their thing. Start with the Texans versus the Lions. It's the first Thanksgiving game. The Lions they're the Thanksgiving team, a bit like how the Jaguars are the London team. So I've gone with the Texans win here. The lineup here is can Houston continue their momentum? Because they looked dominant against the Patriots, I'll have to admit. There was never a point in that game where I thought, oh yeah, we're going to win this. Even when we got the ball back with probably about 2 minutes left, down a touchdown, I was still like, we're not going to win this or even tie this. So I think the Texans, they've proved that although they've had a pretty tough schedule and an awful head coach before now. But yeah, he is. Bill O'Brien was...
I love that you don't pull any punches in our podcast.
I don't. I speak my mind and I will say what I think. And I think that Bill O'Brien is not a good head coach or GM. He throwing away DeAndre Hopkins for a 30-year-old IR-prone running back wasn't it, was it?
Saying it, Chief.
It's not it. Really. It's like he knew he was going to get fired and he was like, yeah, all right, off you go. So I'll predict the Texans to win. What are you thinking, Torin?
I've predicted the Texans to win because I don't know who would lose to the Lions these days.
The
Lions played the Panthers last week.
Jets.
Was that at home?
I believe that was at Ford Field, yes.
And somehow, against a team that didn't have a starting quarterback, they lost. And it wasn't. The Panthers aren't even a strong team with their starting quarterback.
They're
very medium, but without a starting quarterback.
With an XFL merchant.
Yeah. He was really good, though.
He was really good.
He played really well.
Saw a bit of him in Red Zone. He was doing the business. So we're gone with both of us gone with the Texans win there. We'll hop over to the second Thanksgiving game, the 9 p.m. slot UK time. Cowboys versus the Washington football team. I have gone with a Washington victory here. I think Alex Smith is gonna prove that he still has it. What do you think, Torin?
I think that the Cowboys will roll the Washington football team.
How about them boys?
Just checking and see if we still them boys. I think that the Cowboys will score over 20 and Washington will score under 10.
I don't know. I think it's so close between these teams.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Of how awful the division is. I'm not pulling punches. I've said it before, I'll say it again, that this division, the NFC East, they should not have their playoff.
No, they absolutely should not.
They should not have their division-winning playoff spot. It's a joke that the Eagles are going to get the 4th seed in the NFC if they win this. All the Cowboys, all the Giants, all the Washington football team, they all could win it, and they're all going to get the 4th seed if they do. And it's a bit of a joke because they're gonna probably end with definitely a negative record. Probably not even close to 500, and it's like they should not have a playoff spot in this, or at least if they're gonna have that playoff spot, it shouldn't be the 4th seed. The seeds should be ordered by record, not ordered by division winners' records, and then the wild card records. It should be different. I think that should be changed, and I think that's something that NFL should look into as we get into this new playoff picture, this new system where there could be more wildcard teams coming in because of COVID and all that kind of thing. I think something that should be looked into, something that should be tested. What do you think, Torin?
I think that the playoff system is quite outdated, and that maybe it should be based more on, more fluid, as you say.
Yeah, I don't think the guaranteed bye. Well, they used to be pretty much guaranteed bye for a division winner.
The Pats used to get a guaranteed bye every year.
Yeah.
The stat was something like every time they got a guaranteed bye, they won the Super Bowl for a while, and then every year they didn't get to the Super Bowl.
Or didn't win it.
No, that's what I mean. Sorry,
Yeah.
If they got the guaranteed bye, they made it to the Super Bowl. If they didn't, then they didn't get past a certain point. Because last year they got knocked out of the first hurdle.
Yeah, they got knocked out of the wild card by the Titans.
Because you lost to the Dolphins.
Yeah, we lost to the Dolphins last week, which lost us the bye.
I watched that game.
Yes, so did
Moving on.
Wipe the tears. Right, we'll move on to now the Bills, of course, for round 6.
Bills.
Bills versus Chargers. I have gone with Bills victory here. I think that's quite certain. I think Josh Allen should ball out as per, but it'll be good to see what I just said Josh Allen. What Justin Herbert can do against an on-form team. I think, he might perform. But then again, he's really only got Keenan Allen to throw to. What do you think? I think that's fair.
Yep, I've gone with Bills as well. I think it could be. I think it'll be quite a close game. But yeah, as you say, I think that it will be Josh Allen showcase.
Yeah, I think if the Chargers have an inkling of a victory here, then it will mean they won't finish last in the division. I think if they can win this game or another harder game in their schedule, like they got the Patriots next week.
I don't know. They're only one behind the Broncos. They're 3 behind the Raiders. So I think a playoff space is out of the question for the Chargers. But I do think they can get off the bottom.
I think the Broncos are prime spot for that. Like, it's still pretty tough. Not NFC West tough, but it's still quite a tough division. You've obviously got the best team in the NFL right now, the Chiefs, without question. At least the best offense in the league. The Raiders are trending upwards. Their new stadium, their new locations helping that, I'd say. They've got these Chargers who are just coming out of a rebuild, really. They're in their probably final season. They'll get one more low pick. They'll get a decent receiver, someone like that in the first round. And then next season, I reckon they'll be probably up there with the Raiders. I think the Broncos, they're on their way down. They've been on a downwards path for the past probably 4 years since that Super Bowl. With Peyton Manning since then.
Because he retired afterwards, and they were just a shambles after that, really.
Yeah. So next game we got the Colts versus the Titans. The battle for, I'd say there's 2 AFC North teams on the roll. I think this will be the game that decides the division. I think I've gone with the Colts win. What do you think?
I went with the Titans win.
Ooh,
I think that the Titans have got the potential. They need to bounce back, and they need to get some consistency going.
I agree. I mean, they beat the Ravens last week in overtime, but
of course they did. But it was too close of a game against a poor Ravens team this season.
Yeah, if the Ravens I think the Ravens will maybe scrape into the playoffs at best. I don't see any other teams in the AFC North. The Browns might get it just because of their record. They haven't been good, but they've been good enough to get past some of the bad teams. But yeah, I think it's going to be obviously a close game. Like the previous one was actually a Colts blowout. It was like 34-17 only like 2-3 weeks ago. That was on our last episode actually. I think the Colts are going to win it. I think Phillip Rivers is doing things that he shouldn't be doing at his age. With a team, he's just gone there, and it's similar to Brady really, and Phillip Rivers doesn't exactly have the best weapons. He's got, you could say, T.Y. Hilton, but he's been injured. I can't really name any other Colts offensive players, but they've still been good enough to get the points, and their defense is one of the best in the league up there with the Steelers. So I think it'll be a Colts win. Moving on, we got Torin's game here. We got Vikings versus Panthers.
There's an obvious choice here.
Obvious choice. I've gone with the Vikings.
Yeah, there we go.
The Panthers, although I think PJ Walker, he's good. I don't think he's going to be able to hack it too much. I've called this the Bridgewater Bowl. Obviously, where the Vikings were.
We got him into the league, and I think that Kirk Cousins will throw an interception to mark the occasion.
Yes, and to christen the day.
Yeah.
With a interception. At least probably 2, let's be honest. There aren't many games where quarterbacks don't throw picks. Unless your name's Cam Newton. He hasn't thrown a pick in like 5 years.
He hasn't thrown much, has he?
Well, he hasn't thrown much. He only got he's got 2 passing touchdowns past 2 weeks, but he hasn't thrown a pick in 5 weeks. Anyway, let's go back onto the Patriots in a bit. Jaguars versus Browns. I have gone with a Browns win, although I believe it will be close because the Browns have been unimpressive. They've lost their best receiver in OBJ to an ACL injury. He hasn't even had the surgery for that yet. That was a month ago he got injured.
So they're waiting that out till the end of the year.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. I think the Jaguars have now benched Jake Luton, who he started off well against the Packers, but then fell off, and then 4 picks last week against the Steelers. I think the Jaguars with Mike Glennon, I believe he's going to be the guy stepping into the under centre game management role. I think they can maybe do something. They've got weapons. They've got DJ Chark. They've got D.D. Westbrook. I believe D.D. Westbrook might be injured actually, but they've got weapons names that you've not necessarily household names, but names you might know of that might be able to help them through and at least keep it close. I think that's all the Jaguars can really hope for. Keep it close. Did I already ask you what your prediction was for this one?
You didn't, but it's a Browns win.
Yeah.
And I very rarely say that, but there's really not much competition here. The next game's quite interesting because the Bengals lose, they're out of the playoff picture entirely.
I think that's probably inevitable.
I think that the Giants going to win. I think the best thing for the Bengals would be for them to be out because maybe they can draft some sort of offensive line.
Yeah. I've agreed with you. A Giants win. I've put that as my turbo pick, which will only be 2 points.
Interesting you've put tank time for Cincy here, as if they haven't been tanking all season long.
I don't think they have been tanking. I think they've...
2-7-1 isn't bad compared to, if they were in the NFC East, they'd be very much in the playoff picture.
Yeah, I think they could have done better. They've been close games. Joe Burrow has balled out when he's been able to. I think I wouldn't say they've been tanking so far, but I don't even know who their backup is. Do you know who their backup is?
Nope.
I don't know who's going to be under centre this week for the Bengals. So I don't see them winning. I don't see them winning another game this year, unless they somehow get in some kind of name. But yeah, Joe Burrow obviously out for the year. He might not even be back in time for next year because it's not just an ACL tear. It's basically the whole knee is blown.
I told you he's going to take another year out. He's going to go to the Vikings. He's going to team up with Justin Jefferson, and they're going to win a Super Bowl.
Get Clyde Edwards-Helaire in as well from the Chiefs, yeah?
Yes.
Is that how it's going to go?
LSU gang.
LSU dream team. So yeah, I think it is tank time for Cincy. I think they'll go for an O-line or another receiver early on because AJ Green's losing interest. It probably makes sense to cash in on him, get a trade for some picks, and just help build this offensive line around Joe Burrow because they've got their man if they can keep him, and they just need to build around him now, give him the confidence he needs to be able to succeed. Because I can see this Bengals team maybe playoffs if Burrow's back next year. I can see them in the playoffs as a low wild card. I think the Ravens are going to fall off. I think the Steelers are obviously going to fall off because Big Ben will be like 41. He's already fallen off a little bit, but I think we've both gone with the Giants win there. We haven't spoken at all about the Giants actually. We've spoken all about the Bengals.
Not much to talk about the Giants, are they? They're very they're there.
They exist.
And they win a lot of their a lot of games where it's like 2 fairly matched teams. They usually get some good results out of.
Like Daniel Jones, he's in his second year. He's doing all right. You can tell he's the perfect successor to Eli Manning because he's just doing bang average. I love slandering the Giants. It's great. But Saquon Barkley, obviously, he's been down the whole season. He'll be out till next season. He, I believe he had like -2 rushing yards on the season by the time he went down, which was interesting. But I think the Giants will win. I think it'll be close, but I don't think the Bengals are going to try and win it. We'll move on to the Patriots versus Cardinals. I have gone with the Cardinals. And
I was going to say, speaking of inevitable victories, it's an inevitable win for the Cardinals.
If they don't win this, they are not... Well, they'll probably still get playoffs just because of how good their record is. But if they don't win this, they will not make it far. Like, they lost to the Dolphins in quite embarrassing fashion. They nearly lost to the Bills. If they lose to the Patriots as well, I don't know if they play the Jets this year, but they might as well get swept by the AFC East. And when you're looking at like the Super Bowl favourite at some points in the season, that's not what you want. I've also put here the last chance for the Patriots to make the playoffs. This is a very iffy situation. If we get the win and win out, the rest of the season. Possible. But yeah, I said the Cardinals need to win to have any chance at the division. So I've gone with Cardinals win. I believe you've agreed there.
I have, and I think it's one of my 3 picks of the weekend. The other 2 games I'd pick as the closest, the games that will be the most competitive, will be that being Patriots Cardinals, the Steelers Ravens, and the Rams 49ers, because those are the games with a lot on the table. We're at this point in the season where permutations start coming into play and teams start getting left out of the playoff picture. So there's a lot more on the table than later in the season.
I think there's one game to add to that list as well, which would be Bucks versus Chiefs.
I don't think the game will be that close.
I don't think it'll be close, but I think the playoff picture surrounding it is significant. I think the Chiefs should. Well, we'll get on to that later. I'm not going to spoil that. We'll move on. Jets Dolphins. I have been controversial here, and I think the Jets will get their first win of the season. I think the Dolphins will give Tua a second chance to prove himself, but I also think that he has been massively overrated in the passing game. He's only thrown for 400. I think it was like the stats up maybe 200 yards this season from 4 starts, or only 3.5 games, but 4 starts, and he's only thrown 200 yards, which is a bit of a joke as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Albeit, yes, it's his first season. Yes, he needs a bit of time, but Joe Burrow didn't need time.
So you going for Fitzmagic?
I think Fitzmagic will start.
They said that Tua's coming back as a starter.
Have they? Fair enough.
Yeah, after the match.
I think if Tua's back in, that's good for him. But I think they'll let him play the whole game. But I think the Jets are going to win this thing. I think it's going to be like a walk-off field goal at the end.
I've said Dolphins. I think it'll be a similar situation.
Yeah.
But with this is an interesting one. What have you put for the Falcons Raiders game?
I've put Raiders.
Yeah, me too.
I think,
Never mind.
Yeah, I shouldn't have backed the Falcons. I don't know why I did that. It was a bit of a punt. I think the Raiders, they were very impressive against the Chiefs. They could have won that game. I've said Derek Carr was impressive, should pop off, which I'm not wrong. I think if he throws a pick in this game, I'll be a bit surprised, because other than Matt Ryan and Todd Gurley, and Julio Jones, I could not name a single Falcons player.
They should be able to roll the Falcons. It shouldn't be an issue for them.
It should, shouldn't even be a worry. Now we'll move on to the AFC North potential division decider. We'll go Steelers Ravens. You've gone with Steelers?
Yes.
I have gone with the Ravens.
I considered the Ravens because I don't think that the Steelers will quite go unbeaten, but I think they'll go another week unbeaten at least.
I think I'm going to be controversial again, because I always am. Might as well call me Opinion Ed. I think the Steelers are a little fraudulent. We throw that word around
we
a
say
lot.
the word fraudulent a lot this season in particular. I don't think they are, because they've had a couple difficult games. Not difficult teams, but difficult places to play at, difficult climates.
Jacksonville being one of them.
Yeah, and I mean Jacksonville are an awful team, but they're a difficult team to play against.
Awful city as well in terms of the humidity, Florida, blah blah blah.
It's kind of like playing against Broncos, because you're so like the Broncos being in where they are, But again, it'll be a really close game, and it will probably be. It's too bad it got moved from Thanksgiving, because as much as I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, it probably would have been a really it was the game of the night.
But this also means no late nights.
Yeah,
this game's on at 6:15 on Sunday,
which is ideal.
So it's a little later just to get the slots all sorted. I've gone with the Ravens win. I think the Steelers, as I said, they're a little fraudulent. We say that a lot, but I think Big Ben, he's still getting it done when he needs to. I think Juju Smith-Schuster, he is one of the best wide receivers in the league at the moment, but I think he still has got a lot of room for mistake, and he's made a couple drop balls. Chase Claypool as well, he's quite inconsistent. He's had massive 150 yard games one week and then not even been targeted the next week, so that's also not necessarily down to him, but it's a team game. So, and
then the Broncos Saints, I've gone Saints.
Yep.
I think we'd be mad to pick the Broncos. I don't think we really need to talk about that game that much.
Hopefully Taysom Hill can keep impressing. And
I don't think he even has to try that hard, because he's not playing against an offence, is he? He's just playing against a defence.
Yeah.
The Broncos, I don't think they pose any attacking threat to the Saints. That being said, I think they'll score.
I think Drew Lock to Noah Fant is probably the only option. Maybe Jerry Jeudy. But other than that,
I think there'll be field goals that they score though. I don't think they'll score a touchdown the whole game.
Field goal bowl. I think that's what it's going to be for
absolutely.
the Broncos. Rams 49ers now. I've gone with a Rams win.
Me too.
Said Rams should walk this game, and if they win this game, I think the division is almost wrapped up. I'm not sure in terms of their schedule. I know they play the Patriots in a couple of weeks. That shouldn't be an issue for them either. But I think if they don't have to play the Seahawks again, then I think the division should be theirs if they beat the 49ers. So the 49ers are a shell of their former self. Garoppolo down, Kittle still down. The whole defense in the emergency room. I don't think the 49ers have a chance. I think their season was promising to start with, and all the injuries and all the COVID lists and blah blah blah, it's not helped them out. We'll move on again. Buccaneers versus the Chiefs. I've gone with the Chiefs. This should be quite...
Chiefs win it. If they can't dominate this game, they will not win the Super Bowl.
I think this before the start of the season, this was the Super Bowl matchup everyone was predicting. But I think if the Buccaneers make it past the past the NFC divisional round, then they've done quite lucky. Brady versus Mahomes. It's another
GOAT versus future GOAT.
Yeah, I believe Patrick Mahomes is only. I think it's a 2-2 all-time team, Brady and Mahomes.
Yeah, so it'll be good to see a decider. Well, obviously this won't be their last matchup, hopefully, but someone's take the lead for now.
Yeah.
Packers Bears.
I've gone Packers.
Yeah, me too. I hate to do it, but there's no way the Bears can beat them. Nick Foles being out injured, I don't know whether that's positive or negative really for the Bears at this point, but
I think I saw something on Twitter. I think it was from Adam Schefter. It was Matt Nagy is still yet to decide if it will be Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky starting, because they're both coming back from an injury. They're both. It's a day-by-day evaluation to see who will start Sunday.
Probably going to be a boring game, nevertheless.
It's probably be Mitch Trubisky throwing the game away, because I believe it was a shoulder injury he's coming off of.
It'll probably be a lot of Rodgers has thrown it to their receiver. Devontae Adams, that's the one. I remember they've got two players called Adam, but I can't remember. Aaron.
Adam Jones as well.
Yeah, no, it'll just be the usual, really.
Usual stuff.
And then the final game of the week, which is my turbo pick, which is the Seattle Seahawks to beat the Eagles.
I agree with the Seahawks. I think the turbo pick here is a little cheeky, but I'll let you have it still. I think I've put in the notes, Seattle have to win this, no excuses. If they don't win this game convincingly, they are not going to the Super Bowl. That's what I'm going to say. Because they should be an easy win. They should walk this game. The Eagles have a bit of a defense. They've got some players around, but they just don't have the overall package. They don't have the offense. They've got a shell of a former player at quarterback, you know. But that's all we got for the Week 12 preview. We've loud paper turning noises.
My apologies.
No, that was me, not you.
Oh, right, okay.
So yeah, that's all we got time for. We're gonna rush off, get ready to get back home for the first game. The Lions.
I've got an hour and a half of travelling to do yet, mate. I'm not catching any of the games.
Yeah, I doubt you'll make it. I might make it with a half an hour walk up the hill. So yeah, that's all we've got time for. We'd like to thank you for watching NFL Gridiron, and we will see you next week to go over what happened. We'll see you later.
See you later.